Hey everybody, I'm Verna from Stampin' Notes and welcome to my studio. It's Friday, March 22nd, 2024, and I have a beautiful fun fold card to share with you. Hi Kathy, if you're on here and you're watching, say hi, tell me where you're from, and I'd love to know, and I am excited to share this with you. This week my featured bundle has been the beautiful Stippled Roses bundle, and this is carrying over to the new annual catalog. There's the stamp set. And when I go to my project view, you will see the dies are really detailed and beautiful. So this week on my live, which was I had to be pre-recorded this week. I did 3 cards. I did this one. It has the embossed background. This one has cream and crumb cake. It also has an embossed background with the brick embossing folder and some blending here with the beautiful roses there. And then also this one is a fun fold, and this pulls out like that. That opens up. The back of it looks like this. And then to close it, you just tuck it back into that, the rose leaves there. So these 3 cards are free with a order this week. The kits for 2 of each of these are free with an order of $40 or more this week in my online store. And using the host code that's there, a D3Z4KMB3. So it's my half dozen to go. And if your order is $50 or more, I will include a pack of the beautiful Rhinestones basics. I love them because you can color them to go with your whatever you're making. So then also this week I did this card with the Stippled Rose bundle. And you can see this was for a color challenge with a global design project, and you had to use Coastal Cabana, Heather Highland, and Shaded Spruce. So there's an Instagram reel of me making this, but lots of blending on this one. This background here is with the Coastal Cabana on that embossed layer. There's heat embossing on Highland Heather, and then I've used the aqua painter to paint the leaves there with Shaded Spruce. And then these die cuts are also sponged with Shaded Spruce. There's that card. And then today we're going to do a 5th card. So I hope you enjoy this. And the tutorial for this card will be in my newsletter. So if you haven't signed up for my email newsletter, you want to do that, and you'll get the tutorial for that. I usually send it out Saturday, so that would be tomorrow. So I'm going to switch to my project view here. Alright, so here's the Stippled Rose stamp set, and straighten those out. And here are the dies. So there's this beautiful leaf die here, and there's another foliage die. These are little flowers that will go on the end of this leaf die cut. This cuts out the large image, this cuts out the small rose, and this cuts out the leaves that I showed on the Calypso Coral card there. So if you place an order with me this week, it goes till Monday at midnight, then you will get everything pre-cut for you. If there's anything that's die cut that's not in the Stippled Rose bundle, that will be done for you or embossed. You will need this bundle to finish the cards, and you'll get a half dozen to go. So, and then the Rhinestones with an order of $50 or more. And let me start with this new card today. So we're going to start with a piece of our card base is going to be 5.5 by 4.25, and I'm using crumb cake. I'm going to show you all the pieces that you need. Hi Renee. We have a piece of designer series paper, and I'm using the beautiful painted perennials designer series paper that goes with the the lavender painted lavender die set or bundle. Yeah, it is lovely. Um, so this is 5.5 by 4.25. This piece here is 5 3/4 along this long side and 5 1/4, and we're going to do some scoring on that. Then we have a piece of designer series paper, and this is 3 3/4 by 2.5. We have a piece of basic white that is the same, 3 3/4 by 2.5. And we have a piece of cardstock that's 4 by 5 1/4, and this is Pretty Peacock. And then we're going to need a scrap piece for our sentiment. Hi, Carol. Thank you, Carol, and thank you for sharing. All right, so let's start with this, and we've got our card base here that is 5.5 by 4.25. And this card design is from Julie Salva at Stamp and Shine, and she said, this is the easiest fun fold in the world. So there's that. It is pretty easy, and it's really nice too. All right, so on my designer series paper, I'm going to score this on the longer side. This is a 5 3/4 inch side. I'm going to score it at 1 3/4. So here's 1 3/4 is this line right here. And I'm using the light gray scoring blade there and not pushing down really hard. You want to be pretty gentle with your designer series paper. Oh, Renee, you have it and haven't used it. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. So I've got this. Here's our score line. We're going to fold it over and gently press it, and I'll give it a little crease with my bone folder like that. And I'm going to adhere this to our card base there. And I'm going to bring in my glue. This is the Stampin' Up! Glue. I've just put it in a glue bottle. And this is from My Sweet Petunia. It's their glue press, and it's really cool because it has a little stand it sits in, and you know how your ends get clogged and then the glue won't flow right? Well, this is a little end it sits in, and it has like this little, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little red cushiony thing in there, and this just sits in there like that, and it is so nice. It wasn't that expensive either. I want to say it was $35-ish. And they sent 2 glue bottles. One was filled with their glue, and then there was another glue bottle, and I put our Stampin' Up! Jumbo glue in it. All right, so here's what we've got so far. We've got this beautiful designer series paper on our card base. Now we're going to bring in that other piece of cardstock. And this is Pretty Peacock. This is 4 by 5.5. And I've already scored this at 2 3/4. And I'm going to fold that in half like that. And then this is going to sit this way on our other card. So I'm going to turn it. And then I have a piece of designer series paper to layer on that. And this is 3 3/4 by 2.5. So I'm going to come in with that glue, put it on around the edges here. Another important announcement, you guys, is my work schedule changed. So my Facebook Lives that are usually on Mondays are going to now, beginning this week, going to be on Tuesdays at 3 instead of Mondays at 3. And I will put a Facebook post up about that. Thank you, Kathy, for sharing. Oh, so you've got this too. Yeah, I know. I just love it. My phone is vibrating. I don't know if you guys can hear it. All right, so we've got that on there. So we're gonna add this other piece that's this basic white. That's the same as our designer series paper. It's 3 3/4 by 2.5. That's gonna go on the inside here. Yeah, it's easy to squeeze it. And I didn't know, this is the regular tip on it, but there is one that's finer. There's a that you can get. This is what I'm talking about, the little end there. But this seems to be pretty, it's fine enough for me. I like it the way it is. All right, so we're gonna bring our base back in, and I'm gonna add glue to the back of this. Yeah, it's been really chilly and wintry here, where we had like spring like a week or two ago, and man, it's been cold. The wind has been super cold. And you just want to center it in there like that. And then this is going to close over that, like that. And that is our basic card. So now I'm going to take a piece of scrap basic white paper. I'm going to punch out a label with the Heartfelt Hexagon punch. You can see I've been doing die cutting. Punch that out, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment on here. And this is Happy Mother's Day. This is from the Stippled Rose set. Yes, it's easy to put it in it, Carol. You just hold the glue above. There's a wide opening on it, and just squeeze it. Squeeze it in. I don't take the nozzle off the Tombow. I just squeeze it. You hold it up enough so there's like a high stream. I work at my son's law office, and I do guardianships and adoptions. I really enjoy it. I just work 2 days a week there. All right, so I have this. Now I've die cut some beautiful leaves from the One Leaf die in Lost Lagoon, and this is Pretty Peacock. So the 2 dark shades of green that go with this designer series paper. And before we do that, let's do our little rose that's going to go on the front here. So we'll set this aside a minute and bring in a scrap piece here. And I'm going to stamp the rose in Pretty Peacock. I'm going to stamp it right down here. I'll move this up so you guys can see it better. Isn't that pretty? Just in the green. It's such a pretty image. And I'm going to bring in my, I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper here because I'm going to do some blending. And the alcohol blends, Stampin' Blends, it will leak through a little bit. So you want to be aware of that. I have Bubble Bath, and I'm just the light Bubble Bath Stampin' Blends, and I'm going to lightly go over this, the petals on the rose. Technically, you're supposed to use black memento ink with your blends, because that ink helps keep the blends from leaking out into the outside the edges. And I'm basically what I'm doing, this is Highland Heather. I'm just going over the painted images here where the dark ink is with the Highland Heather. And that will blend in with the pink. Just like that. We'll do a little bit on this edge here. Okay, so there is our rose. I'll hold it up so you can see it in a minute. And I'm going to take Lost Lagoon, the light Lost Lagoon, and just color in lightly. I'm not even going to the edges here. I'm just going like that. We have our son's dog while they're away this week, and he has been so much fun and such a good dog to take care of. He's down here listening. All right, so there's our rose, and you can either die cut it. If you don't have the dies, you can fussy cut. This image is pretty easy to fussy cut out, and I'm just gonna go around fussy cut it. So when you're fussy cutting, you should try to keep your scissors straight and turn your paper. This is a cool card. I want a cool card pattern. I want to make it with some other sets. It's easy, and I like that you can feature just different designer series patterns with it. You can do, well, I've got 3 different patterns there. There's some beautiful new in colors coming out in the new annual catalog. I was not able to go to on stage, but as a demonstrator you can order early. So I can order like in the beginning of April, and then they will be available for customers. The new products will be available beginning, like I think the beginning of May 4th or so, around there. I'm going to tuck that under there. I'm going to add, whoops, these are tangled. And if you get the starter kit now, you'll be able to do that. Order early. All right, so glue. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on these bottom leaves here. I'm going to bring this piece back in and put it layered over it like that. And then, whoops, I'm going to do the same thing with these 2. Just add a little bit of glue on the bottom part here. And layer that over that. All right, so I want these up here like this, and these down here. I want them so they're not, yeah, they're hanging over just a little bit like that. And then I'm gonna grab my, whoops, there they go. I'm just putting this on with glue because I'm gonna pop that little rose image up with dimensionals. Oh, I'm glad that didn't drop glue down. Oh, that would have been a mess, if you know what I mean. All right, so let's lay this down where we want it, and then we can slide our leaves under there. About like that. And this label is crooked. Okay. So once I have that on there, and that starts to hold a little bit, I'm just going to take and add a little more glue to these to help hold them down. Add a little bit there, and a little bit under here. Okay, and and I guess that other one's pretty good. So we'll take our little rose and add a couple of dimensionals to it. What did I do with it? Oh, there it is. So we'll add, let's just add 2 dimensionals like that. And we'll add our little rose, maybe kind of going that way there. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of glue under this leaf here, just to help hold that down a little more. And then we need a bow. Alright, so I'm using the linen thread. I told you this was an easy, fun fold. Okay, so there's our bow. And I always like to do a double bow, as you guys know. And these scissors are dull. Oh, come on. There we go. So we'll grab a glue dot. Okay, and we're going to add our bow like right here on our rose, and I'm going to grab another one here just to make sure it stays good. And we'll put that like that. Let's see if I can get these tails to lay straight. Alright, so let's add some gems. And I'm using the Petal Pink and Pretty Peacock foil gems, and I'm going to use the Pretty Peacock ones. And put one here. And one here. Maybe one up here like that. So there's our card, and we're going to decorate the envelope. So isn't that pretty? Happy Mother's Day. And it just opens like this. Now you've got the the leaves here. If you just bend that, then they will bend when you open it. Or you could add them tucked under this layer here if you wanted to. So we've got that, and let's grab our envelope. And I have a piece of designer series paper we're going to add to the back of the envelope. For some reason I'm not, oh, here it is. Alright, if you want to decorate your envelope flat, you want to cut a piece that's 6 by 2.5 or 2 3/8, 2.5 in there. And then all you do is add your adhesive around the edge, like that. We'll add a little bit in the middle there. And then you're going to line this up with your fold. Just like that. Turn it over, and then you're going to trim the edges all the way around the flap. just like that. And that makes a really pretty envelope. So we've got our envelope here, and we've got our beautifully decorated super simple fun fold. So I hope you enjoyed this, and don't forget, I'll be back Tuesday at 3 instead of Monday. And thank you so much for stopping by today. Take care.